everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
That's your name, Captain Foley.
We're here today to talk about Season 2, Episode 1 of Strange New Worlds, which is called The Broken Circle.
It should have been called We Brought Klingons Back, for real, y'all. Not in a small way. The trailer doth not give a true indication of the amount of Klingons this season. Happy with that.
We don't know.
Well, that's a lot of money on Klingon makeup they just spent. Anyway, so what do you think of Season 2, Episode 1 of Strange New Worlds?
It's alright. It was good to come back to it for sure. It was a little dark and gritty. Like a little bit too much so. I expected more like to see some of what Pike was doing as well. Didn't really get that. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And I think that the Enterprise is the most stolen ship in all of science fiction history. Everybody's back. That's great. We got a new engineer, which I really like. She's quite unique. And she is a lanthanite. There you go. Which we'll probably learn more about, obviously. But she very much reminds me of her role that she had in Scrooged, where she was the ghost of Christmas Present. And same kind of acting vibes and chops. Anyway, like her, she's going to be fun to have around. Yeah, it was just like we never left Strange New Worlds. It was nice to get back into it. Got a new ship and even a new feature on the D7, which I kind of liked. But we'll talk about that at some other point. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of like here. And overall, the story felt very like John Wick. Seems like Manga kind of embraced the John Wick vibe. And again, we need to learn a little bit more about that, the whole injection thing and stuff. But overall, yeah. How about you? What did you think of it?
So I liked it. I think it's hard not to like it. But I think they tried to cram a bit too much in and kind of diluted what was there a bit. It's a long episode, 50 minutes, great. Klingons, great. But they could have kind of took out a third and focused more. That being said, they're very long and somewhat boring Mbenga and Chapel fight scene. It got very dull very quickly. And it was 3 times as long. So it was rushed in bits, but that was extremely dull to me. Especially as, Klingons are over twice the strength of a person. But Klingons I thought were pretty great across the board. I like the Klingon captain a lot. Very measured. Nice vibe. Great vibe. I'm assuming he's going to come back. A lot of stuff to give the guy to not being there once. Pike leaving. Okay. Talk about at least efficiently getting out the story to focus on everyone else. Great. But then once they got to the planet, it was so quick that I'm here trying to appreciate this lithium planet. Nope. They kept burning through plot points to the point of it was a bit too much. And then to launch the ship as well and then have a sort of a battle as well. A lot of stuff. And to throw in Spock's love story with Trapple front and centre, and also his lack of emotion front and centre, and his harp, and then Benga's war arc, and then Benga's brutalising Klingons arc. And it was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. It was close, but it was too much of what it was trying to do.
Yeah, and like I said, it got a little dark and gritty. Like literally, the scenes on the planet, the scenes on the manufactured Federation ship, the Crossfield class. She says she thinks it's a Crossfield class, but no, it was very dark and muddy all the time. And again, that's something that kind of bugged me a little bit. But hey, it's fine. It was just for a first episode, I was kind of like, this would have been good, like a second, third, whatever episode, not necessarily for a first one. First one I want to have like the jubilance of being back into the season, and yeah, but it's kind of like like you said, it's very much a continuation, and I kind of wish there was more of a punch that gave it like that first episode kind of feel.
Is fighting Klingons not a punch?
No.
Seeing Klingons?
Well, fighting Klingons, yes, but not like you said, those protracted fight sequences were a little bit much.
But was seeing Klingons back for the first time correctly, besides Worf, obviously, in a decade and a half, was that not a punch of wow?
No, because I knew they were coming. And I gotta say, there was quite a variety of Klingon designs, so that's good. They mentioned the war, they talk about that kind of stuff. No mention of the Discovery Klingons, really, per se. So I kind of appreciate that as well. But yeah,
and they felt like Klingons.
Oh, absolutely.
It,
That Klingon captain reminded me of another Klingon, but I can't quite
yeah,
place it.
almost one of the original three from TOS. He kind of had that very like professional vibe, which is not what you expect from TNG clones, but they were slightly different minded. They were slightly more samurai and sometimes in TOS versus the more Viking-y in TNG. So I think he's great. I want to come back.
Yeah.
You felt some power from him, but not an aggressive power. But I'm wondering if did it feel like an apology, the Klingons in this, that they just hit the head, they hit for the most part now in the head first try. Was that an apology? And then made that forward in the story? As if nothing happened is what I'm saying. Is that the apology, you think?
Yeah, I think that is, as well as the Crossfield class as well. It was a bit of an apology. But it was good. It was good to have the Klingons back. Hopefully we'll see more of them this season. Like you said, they spent a lot of money on this kind of stuff, so that's good.
So what do you think of the whole La'an storyline? Obviously, we lost Una and La'an end of season 1, right back in season 2.
Good, I think, because she did take off to get a beat on this girl at the end of the last season, and that just wraps up right away with she found her, and now she's going to be coming back to the Enterprise. So that's good, because I kind of really like La'an in this one, and I've really grown to appreciate the character. I like her very much now. So please have her back. Yes. So and even though the whole ensign, when you go away, things happen. It was nice to show that some kind of time had passed, even though Admiral April is like, she took a voluntary leave, and I love how he's trying to talk Spock out of it. Like, I think if there was no other issues going on, because it starts off with Pike saying that the brass are kind of worried about something's in the air. I think if there was nothing else going on, April would have been more like, yeah, let's do this thing. But he didn't want that to start a war on the Klingon side. So yeah, he did say, she took voluntary time off. He's kind of like leading Spock to not do the thing. Yeah, I'm glad that she is addressed right away and not like episode 3 kind of thing, because it would have been kind of bad to not have her in an episode or 2.
It was an interesting one. I like to bring up the political side of it. Having someone on an important dilithium colony say help, you go help. It was odd that they were really not trying to help. Even, go back in a month, what a ridiculous plan. Anything that's crucial be done in a day or a week, a month, you could have a war. So that felt certainly off character, I thought. The end obviously helped with the Gorn threat being present, and, you losing a Connie, it's quite a big thing to lose if you need a firefight, if you need a fleet. So I get why we can't send it out, maybe start a secondary war, kind of sacrificing this possible pawn. Now you see in the end, it's like, well, if this thing blows up, well, yeah, but we need the Connie here. We can't have Klingons fighting us too.
Plus, if they were going to send a ship in to solve this problem, you wouldn't send a Connie in. We saw the pan around. We saw like the Farragut, or not the Farragut, the single nacelle one from season 1, which was like
but not Saladin,
a crew of 6 or something, and how small it was. You wouldn't send something like the Enterprise in necessarily for this, because you wouldn't want to be threatening, because you are like basically you're time sharing the planet, and you don't want to start a war. So you'd send us something a little less threatening and say, hey, we got a problem, we got a distress call, can you help us out? So yeah.
Although then that ship might get blown up even easier. So I think you could argue either way.
Yeah, you could.
Although, and also, what an odd line after the very, very protracted "What's your thing gonna be, Mr. Spock?" I mean, it is cringe, right? Like, it was never a thing until 09. Like, even Jamie says engage. You just say engage or go to warp and make it so. I don't do catchphrases in any of my captains. I do not care. It's
now a thing, though.
Yeah, but it's now such a thing they make a thing out of it. But you need to get there. Why the hell are you going warp 5? Jesus Christ. At least go with your maximum speed. Let's go 30 miles an hour now. But sir, the road is 90. 13 now. What? You know what I mean? It's like, let's take 6 times longer than we have to. Why? Shut up, Helm. But La'an was odd, I thought, that they set up the Gorn thing with her, and it felt like they entirely ignored it. Yes, the kid's there. Moving on. There was no trauma left. There was no Gorn relation whatsoever. It moved on instantly to this Klingon thing. I like Klingons. Good for them. But it felt like that was a non-plot. Like, we had an idea, we abandoned it between seasons. every scene was her sort of sitting or standing, very passively acting and saying some lines.
I just loved her reaction to drinking the wine. Like it was hard to do, and then, he goes to do it again, and he's like, she's dribbling down his beard. Don't hide it in your beard. That was kind of funny.
I don't know why an augment could therefore drink more booze.
Yeah, her storyline was kind of just But I'm sure we'll get more of her in the Gorn later this season, so I'm not too worried about that.
I'd rather see Klingons than Gorn, but Gorn clearly the big threat at the end.
Well, I'd rather see actual Gorn.
Yes, sorry. Gorn, not
yeah.
SNW Gorn, yes.
Yes. SNW Gorn.
Oh, and how much was your brain when she opened that case of weapons? I was thinking they're going to throw a cage laser in there.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It was such an obvious throwaway to put an X phaser in there or a cage phaser. I thought I don't know why I was pictured there'd be
One thing I didn't like is the whole how they get the ship down here. They must have built it here, so you can just build Federation ships. Even the interiors, even in sickbay, the display screens, that bugged me quite a bit. I love that the lockers were empty. They just had shit thrown in them. So if the ship got destroyed, you'd find parts of EV suits and stuff, but it's not like a fully staffed or equipped ship. I like that aspect, but building a full Federation ship, it seems weird to me. How do they get all the parts to build an entire ship? I understand that the Broken Circle, they're trying to get Federation tech to initiate a new war because it's good for their profits, but that's a lot of parts. That would take a long time to do, especially without a starbase facility or an actual dry dock. I don't know. I mean, you can replicate things, maybe, I guess, fabricate. I don't know. Thoughts?
It was another twist within a multi-twist story that was what? Oh, okay, and then it leaves. I appreciate it was smaller. Obviously, use the Discovery sets to help save money, because I was wondering what were they kit bashing, redressing. It's it's not Stranger Worlds, it's Discovery, so great. But I got slight PTSD to those damn corridors. We've had a lot of annoying, painful memories in those corridors. It's it's those corridors again. So I was right back to the original home. It was weird. I mean, what we'll do is we're holding off talking about it, but it's a very odd ship design anyway. But even just the nacelles being so scaled down is okay, fair enough. Yeah, I really assumed it was going to be a runabout scale. An actually constructible ship. Because why would you build a bigger ship if you're going to build a ship from scratch? Every time it's every 100 meters, every 50 meters, every 20 meters, you're looking at exponentially more parts. Especially as if the entire point is to not be caught, you could not use any Klingon anything. Anything. So that's presumably a multi-year project. And who's the first guy that said, you know what? While we get drunk, let's take 4.5 years to build a ship in a cave, and we're going to also do the dilithium stuff, and also only be on the planet once every month, or 1 month every 2. Yes, for Kalis, yes. It's right. Could have built in the asteroid field, could have built it anyway. It was weird. Even better, sorry, since they're splitting the planet 30 days on, 30 days off, shared custody, while the Federation's there, steal a Federation ship on the last day, or some try to acquire a Federation ship. Yeah, but that'd be war starting before you want a war start.
That's very true.
And also, you're not going to be sending necessarily high-end ships, so they send a D7, which is the highest end ship. Yeah, it was weird. In fairness, no one ever said it was in a cave built there except our guys have no proof. So, you know what I mean? There's no reason to think they did, really. That's just something they said offhand. They have no idea. They just got there. It's clearly been, they could easily be a roof that they landed there 6 months ago, right? So that's purely them saying it, right?
True, but we got to work with what we're given, man. And they did kind of cover both their bases, how'd they get that down here? I think they built it. So
yeah. Well, the animal's a bit ambiguous, but it was okay. That's
the other stupid thing. You see the D7, you see the other ship coming in, and then you see the Enterprise behind it, and then Spock later is you didn't even see us on your sensors until we fired at our ship, or the ship. Don't you think we could have as easily have fired at you?
It's not true, Spock. Doesn't make any sense. Because if that's the logic, they could have just built the ship in the asteroid field. Because if there's no way to detect them unless they fired.
Well, they were out of the asteroid field at that point. They were on their way to the D7.
Yeah, but the CG team didn't work with the script writers. One team decided they were the asteroid, one decided they didn't. They weren't. There's a few little disconnects in it that kind of don't work so well. Tangent. New engineer. For me, she's right on that line of really, really annoying to has some potential. I think her last scene is much better than the first scene. Because the first scene just feels really obnoxious and I don't love her cadence. Because I have no idea who she is. But the last scene I thought was much better for her when she was trying less hard.
I thought she was fabulous, though. I love her, and I love the cadence. I love everything about it. I love that quirkiness. Because I know her from Scrooged, and that's exactly what she's like in Scrooged. So it's kind of funny. Not the same voice, but the same cadence, the same facial expressions. Yeah.
Almost like hiring Amanda Plummer for Picard, like the same sort of like the performance you can get from the person you want to redistribute here. But the 100 Years twist was really fun. And then that feels like a giant setup to some fun bonus stuff. Like we might see some NX ETH stuff. Because that's a big old thing to throw in.
Yeah, the Lanthanites, you guys managed to stay hidden among humans until the 22nd century. It's like, what? And what are the drawbacks of living almost forever? It's not losing the ones you love. It's because it gets boring.
And that was a nice thing of her to say. Yeah, we all lose people we love. That's not. Yeah, that's really poignant. Actually, that was really fun. And the second line of that scene is, "Boy, you get a bit boozy and you get so personal."
Yeah, a little alcohol when you get personal, Flyboy.
I did like Ethan's drunk Spock acting. Like it was very nice. It was just there because it would just hit him rather than be fully drunk. I thought that was quite nice.
I also love Spock in this, from the emotional, like, because he took down his barriers to fight the Gorn, to getting the lyre from Manga to be like human therapy, to channel his emotions into his music, which carries over to TOS. That's great.
Mm-hmm. That was sweet.
Yeah. And then the whole chapel thing of, I waited for you, don't die, you can't die.
So is that what he said? I waited for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear.
He says, I waited for you. Don't die, you can't die. That's what he says.
Spock, you're engaged, bro. You like
I know.
her. She's great.
I know.
Why,
But
bro?
anyway,
Why?
I thought, and the way he was holding back tears when on the bridge, and then in sickbay, I'm liking where they're going with Spock, and I think Ethan Peck is doing a great job.
I'm of two minds, as he is of two worlds, on this, because it didn't feel appropriate for episode 1. It was so full on. And like, we've known season 1 fine, but even compared to that, like, there wasn't a payoff to him losing his emotions in the same way to like, he's human. Like, he's to pull after Trillium. Like, he was so far down the path. That's a large old leap from where we left him. No one's really reacting to him, like, say, almost crying. Like, that's so far. Kind of like what they want to do with Quinto. Like, bursting into motion, but handled far, far better. But I feel like I've just seen that with Quinto. It didn't feel very original, because they always want to go, well, he's more emotional. Obviously, he was very solid in season 1, but straight into season 2 felt a bit, not jumping the shark, because he did a really good job acting it, but why this early on? Is it because it be resolved quickly, or because they want us to, or is it not much time later? It just felt odd as a straight out the gate one.
I think it might be resolved rather quickly, honestly. But I love that a couple times this episode it's kind of made the point that he's not a typical Vulcan.
Yes,
he
definitely.
He accepts that fact at the end, which I thought was great. So yeah, that was very, very well done. I was very happy with that.
No, the acting was superb. I mean, he did a very nice job. But I'm just I don't know where it's going to go, because it feels very, of course, try with Chapel, but Chapel leaves the Enterprise. We know that, which I wonder if that's the same setup. I don't know. I think that's where she went in TOS, the Vulcan thing. I feel like that's because she also meets her husband, who's an archaeologist.
Yeah, Dr. Richard Corby, whatever the hell his first name is.
But she's a great I don't want to leave, but I mean, hey, thematically it makes sense, right? Structurally.
I wonder if Manga goes with her, because I know Manga learns a lot about Vulcans as well. Because they had a thing in this one where it's like she knew about she overheard what he experienced during the war, and as soon as she showed her the vial, she knew what it was, and she's like, do you never not carry those? I mean, implying that she knows that he has them, like, and what it does, and she's willing to jump on board. She also said that she was in the war, so
I mean, everyone was in the 7-month war,
except for people on the Enterprise who were on their 5-year mission. That said right at the beginning.
Apart from them, everyone else, Stuart, everyone else.
Yeah. So they make a pretty interesting team together. I really thought she was going to kiss him before the airlock opened. I'm glad she didn't. Because if she did, I would have been like, you just kiss everybody, don't you?
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for if you're going to die in a minute, might as well smooch. It's nice. I mean,
I hope I'm not with you when you're about to die, man. Jeez.
But do you know what I mean? It's like 10 seconds to live. Because there's no reason to think there was even an Enterprise there. I mean, they were going to die, right? They had to accept that. Well, a good makeup with the frozen thing. Yeah, that was all very weird. Again, not set up in any way. And Manga in the war, the green stuff's entirely episode 3, 4. Like, there's all these elements being thrown in that were not set up in any way. Even in Manga, like, they could have added it to his child storyline from season 1. Like, I don't want to lose my daughter because of the war. I lost more people than I could have imagined. But there was none of that, right? I imagine they did not know their season 2 Klingon vibe until the reaction, until they saw how the show was going in the edit. And this is going to go great, right? So I bet that was a later decision. But yeah, really out of left field. But I love that idea of going with Chapel, because then if you take 2 out of the equation, then you could follow them for a bit doing some other stuff for like half a season, or like a few episodes, I should say, before they actually leave. And we've already lost Hemmer, so there is now a precedent for losing actors when it's their time to go. And obviously they will get to TOS, they're not undoing TOS, so there is a finite amount of time both characters can exist on the ship, etc.
I did like Manga talking to the Klingon, though, where the Klingon's like, I should kill you to prevent you from spreading lies. Where did you work on Klingons? And then he says the moon or whatever, and then says the air was so full of blood that it rained red. It's like, wow. Yeah, he knows. He knows.
I mean, it's a tricky one to throw in the war stuff now, because Discovery did we all know, bleeped the bed on that, right? They said we hadn't dealt with the Klingons in like 60 years, which takes all out the possible storylines. There was never even remotely a contextual thing. Okay, and then there's a 7-month war where there was basically a genocidal attack from the Klingons, all parties, all people, suicide bombing. And we even saw when they attacked Burnham's special Section 31 base, they're just stabbing everyone brutally. It's like there's such a limited window of horrible, gruesome, disgusting war, and then a chill Cold War where yes, Kang, let's chat about this after 3 years ago you were stabbing people gruesomely. Feels like they were kind of just ignoring all Discovery's inferences. Like, here is some facts of Discovery, everything else you think you know, we're going to ignore it. Safe option. But to have him be in a battle because he had to be with Discovery Klingons, right? Like, logically, and all this horrible, gruesome. It's, you know what I mean? It's a hard. They put themselves into a giant corner.
I'm sure we'll get filled in on that backstory sometime this season. I think that's the way it's going to be.
And I guess that's his next storyline.
Now, the only other thing to talk about real quick is the Pike and Una thing. They're looking female lawyer who would represent her won't answer Una's calls or Pike's. So Pike's going to go in person. And I love how it's 3 days to just have the door slammed in your face. It's 2.5 with the new shuttles to get all the way across the quadrant. Goddamn, that's pretty impressive.
Best just ignore their warp speed travel because they don't. But
I want to know who this female lawyer is. I have a feeling that it's going to be somebody that we know. Maybe one of the maybe someone from the TOS episode Court Martial. I don't remember the names. Maybe
it'll be Sati's great grandmother from TNG. No, I mean, it was so small. I don't know how they can possibly resolve the situation, given it's kind of like General Order 1. It's like a black and white, well, she's illegal in the Federation. Okay. Sorry. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel very compelling to me as a storyline, because she shouldn't be let free. Okay. But I mean, good for Pike for putting the effort in. Good for him.
It kind of interests me, too, that she lied on her Starfleet application, but, her being an Illyrian. Makes me wonder if the engineer has lied about being a Lanthanite, because no one knew that she was a Lanthanite, apparently, until who are like, oh, that's what the accent is. And you'd think they'd have read her personnel file, because when she walks on the bridge, Spock knows exactly who she is. So has she lied on her Starfleet exam or application?
I mean, the free flow fun of that, I didn't get any sense that she was revealing outright to everyone, oh look, I'm this alien. I just got the sense that, you know, she's, no offense, she's a nobody, right? She's part of the repair crew. It's been 3 months. I'm not gonna read everybody's report about, you know, how many people do we have message us that we don't necessarily read their full bio on, right? It's like, you know, I can forgive them. She looks human.
Yeah, if she wasn't assigned to be chief engineer, yes, she was just part of the inspection team.
Yeah, which, in fairness, quirky way of getting an engineer.
Yeah,
she sort of latches on and says, "I want to do it." So what? I'm doing it. Okay,
I'm going to help you steal the Enterprise. I love it. That's great.
I wish they hadn't said steal the Enterprise. That's very Star Trek 3, Ian. Like, just even the way they phrase it felt like that. I wish it was a bit more original than just that again. But I like their escape plan, the way they did it. And then going up was a nice shot. Although wasn't it odd to see the exact same Picard scene again with a fake bomb? We just saw that like 11 weeks ago. But these teams don't obviously write together that much. But that felt oddly the same thing.
And we did see those weird ships at the beginning too, like around the starbase. Don't know if they're Section 31, if they're drones, fighters, what are they?
Oh, they were doing repairs on the ship, sort of.
There you go.
Sort of. They look more like the synth fighters from Picard as well. And also they were. But yeah, and then Gorn at the end, we're going to have some big old space fights. Hopefully they'll show normal Gorn and actually learn the lesson of Discovery Season 1. You can make a weird setup as long as you pay it off in a logical way. And then ignore it if you don't do it. Then just bring Klingons back. It's fine.
That's about it, guys. Comment down below what you thought about this episode or any of our thoughts on it. We want to hear from you guys. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Come back and join us for lives. We like to do lives and talk with you guys in person about this kind of stuff. We do our full breakdown reviews, which are awesome. That'll be later today. So go check that stuff out, and please consider coming back and joining the channel maybe.
As much as you think we've talked about this episode, there's more. 2 hours, Stuart. It's organic. Even our first review was about 2 hours. That's how long it takes to go through scene by scene, discuss each element of the plot, different shots even, things we liked, didn't like, comment, and final the canon reasons as to why we love doing it. We know you guys enjoy it, so tune in at the same time, same place. Super chat if you can, your thoughts, comments, questions. That's how you help move the conversation forward, fund the channel, and have some fun with the director. Like, oh, I saw a thing, here's my $5. It's like, hello, sir. You're correct. Back to the review. You know, we love it. Right? You can stop us in our tracks. The power is with you. Or regular, monthly, at Trekyards@hotmail.com. That is the PayPal. But you can the monthly. I just started automatically saying one thing. Patreon/Trekyards. Or join the channel on Trekyards YouTube. There's a join button. Scan for it. Scan for the join button. Press it. And be happy with your pick. Or you can buy a shirt. The link's down below. Or just super thanks on any of our videos. On any video, literally. Any. You know, go put a Kailash on a Discovery Klingon video. Whatever you want. There's many ways to do it. I mean, it's a long list I can give you every time. You know, I do most times. It's a long list.
Join the fleet. You're going to see the fleet video in just a second here, and you can have your name on the fleet, one of the ships. So please join us for that. And until next time, he is Commander Calkins.
He is Captain Foley.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.